My name's Cody Smith.
I'm Tierra Penner.
Hi there, I'm Tim Ocampo.
And the three of us are the hosts of the Last Podbender.
Hello, friends from all nations. My name is Timothy Ocampo, and you're here with...
Tierra Penner.
And Cody Smith.
And today, we will be talking about Avatar The Last Airbender Season 1, Episode 7, The Winter Solstice, Part 1. Oh, this is so wordy!
There's a lot of words in this one, yeah.
Today, we'll be talking about Episode 7, which is Winter Solstice, Part 1, The Spirit World. Ooh. In this episode, we have the gang coming across a burnt down forest. A local village has been having some troubles with a spirit attacking their village every sunset and quickly enlists the help of the Avatar. Yeah, is that pretty much it? Did I synopsisize right?
And then also Iroh. There's like a sub story.
Right. Following along Zuko and Iroh's journey, we after I feel like I'm trying to be one of those radio announcers from the 1920s. Simultaneously during the episode, we follow Iroh and Zuko. We have our beloved Uncle Iroh chilling with his homemade bathtub, but after taking a nap that was way too long, he ends up captured by some earthbenders who want to take him to Ba Sing Se. Ooh. Sorry, there's actually nothing that... Actually, no. Ba Sing Se is pretty creepy. We'll talk about that later in the future. So while these two stories... What am I trying to say? I feel like I'm over-explaining stuff. I'm just summarizing. Am I synopsisizing or summarizing?
Both.
Okay, cool.
Was there a difference?
I don't know. I think that they're synonyms. Too many S words.
This is me just overthinking. It's been a while, fam. Thank you for joining us this episode. Some things that we're pretty curious about it. Something that stuck out to me right away, I forgot while we were watching, it was like, oh wow, I'm not watching this out of pure enjoyment. I am here to actually attempt to critically analyze this TV show. Something I really appreciated, because where we were coming from episode 6, in prison, moving on to the spirit world, episode 7, was just seeing the dynamic between the team evolving as well. I like how during... when they were approached by the old man asking if Aang was an avatar, instead of recklessly responding or letting the fame go to his head like in episode 4, he referentially stares at Katara almost like in the look of asking for permission. It's like, oh, should I tell this man that I'm the avatar? She was like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
And, so it's really cool just seeing the dynamics change between the group and how... I really like what Sokka was doing in terms of, it's like, oh man, here's a really, oh, I have a cat on my lap, I'm so happy. Here's this really overwhelming problem. My friend should not have to go through it alone. And I really like that message of it, even though he wasn't as instrumental in it resolving, but it was pretty cool. Sokka has gone from this, like, distant stranger to, like, you know what, I will throw hands with this giant monster for Aang. And I like that. I really like that.
And I definitely agree. It's like, you know, before he's just kind of, he seems like he's along for the ride. And like, I guess maybe after episode 3 where they kind of like have that bonding moment or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's the first time where he's kind of like in there and he's like, no, we gotta help Aang, you know, like we can't just let him fight this crazy demon on his own, which is really cool to see. Mm. I would like to say that like this whole episode has like a super creepy vibe, and they do like the creators of the show do a really good job of like making it like creepy, but not it like there's nothing there's not like skeletons or gore or anything, or like anything overtly creepy, but just like the whole, I don't know if it's the music or like the scenery that they're portraying, but it's just like a very creepy vibe, I would say.
You know what? I disagree. I didn't actually
Really?
I didn't get a creepy
Really?
vibe. I've never got a creepy vibe from this episode. This episode to me is very much like reminiscent of just being sad because like nature has been violated in such like a stark way, and it's such like a violent contrast from a lot of the nature that we've seen in the show, that to me this episode's never had a creepy vibe. It's more been like a very upset, sad and like lost vibe, kind of like, because Aang feels very lost throughout the whole episode. He doesn't know what to do. He's trying his best, but he's just sad and lost.
Yeah, that's interesting, because like I remember watching it the first time around, and even then I like, this episode is just very distinctly creepy in my mind, and maybe that's why it has that creepy vibe to it, because like the first time I watched it is, I don't know, it's the way that the characters interact, the whole village, they're not really being forthcoming with like what's happening right away, and they're kind of, I don't know, it just seems like a horror movie, you know what I mean? It's
like,
yeah.
Hey, bye, coming to theaters near you.
Yeah.
I think maybe I watched this episode when I was pretty tired, and I didn't get a creepy vibe from it, and then ever since then it's just been like, oh, this is the sad episode. This is the where like nature dies and it's sad.
I think I actually 100% see both of your points. I think from like at the end of the episode perspective, I definitely see like once we understand what Heibai actually is, him being the spirit of the force, and like this is essentially like him causing all this devastation is an expression of his loss and his grief. And from that lens, 100% it's like, yeah, Heibai, this is like 100% agree. Like you're hurting. This is sad, and like us as the audience like empathize, and also Aang ends up empathizing is how he makes that connection to stop the destruction, which is awesome. But being the first time I watched this, being like 13 years old, I was like, oh my gosh, that demon has arms coming out of his arms.
Yeah.
His teeth are like just super sharp, and whenever he roars, like blue energy comes out. So I think I avoided this episode a lot, as a child. I was full disclosure, I was full ass scared as a child of this. I was like, wait, it was a panda. And I think what's really cool, because Avatar loves challenging the concept of like you know, challenging the narratives of like, oh, 100% evil needs to be defeated and there's nothing to empathize with. But I like how this was almost like a narrative sample of what was to come, the attempts to reconcile conflict and not immediately viewing another person in conflict as the enemy you need to destroy, which is really cool. So.
Yeah. Instead of just getting into an epic battle with the demon when it attacks the town, I guess it's not a demon. It's literally the spirit of the forest. Like, it looks like a demon when you first see it. But yeah, instead of just like going into battle, guns blazing, Aang is trying to ask it questions and talk to it and be like, "Why are you doing this? Stop it! Hey, spirit guy, stop this!" Like,
I think it's cool the use of foreshadowing in this, because like Aang himself is very sad and upset and hurting at the beginning, and then Katara's like, oh no, look, there's hope. And then when Sokka gets taken, he ends up sitting on this like giant bear statue, and like I don't know what cultures use bears as like kind of like a spiritual symbol, but there are cultures that do, and I feel like it's very like much tied into that. And so for me, seeing like that big statue and like seeing a monster, I like immediately like associate them together and be like, oh, so it's just like attached to the forest that was burnt, and so that makes sense. And then like to have Aang like trapped and not know what to do was like, it almost kind of parallels Heibai, where like Heibai's like trapped in like his anger and his hurt and his upsetness, and Heibai doesn't know what to do, so he's just acting out.
Yeah, and then Aang would be trapped in his like sadness and not knowing what to do as well. Like, and they're both trapped in the spirit world in that kind of same way almost.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I think Aang has a very particular way to empathize with, I guess, the loss of like your home. I think he's fresh off of that, especially coming from, was it the Southern Temple where he saw all that stuff go down?
Yeah.
I think it was like the second episode.
Third
episode.
Yeah, no, just the way that also that they took, because like at the end of the episode you find out that Bai is the spirit of the forest, but he's actually this big fluffy cuddly panda bear. But the way that they took like him as a black and white spirit, you don't even associate him with a panda bear until you see that he is a panda at the end. But the way that they distorted it into like such a like demonic looking, like you said, he's got arms coming out of his arms.
Like just watching him run around with like little like ghosty animation, like every time he moved was just like, oh, please stay away. Give me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah. So I think they did like
GBs.
I love it. Oh, it was there all along. Oh, so good.
Yeah, but I think the parallels, like the way that they do like the good version and the bad version, are very good. Reel in.
So, after he becomes a giant panda bear and he walks through the gates of the town, I love that he just, when he's upset, he causes destruction, but when he's calm and not upset anymore, then all of a sudden he causes, like, new growth and new forest to appear. And, like, bamboo shoots up. And, like, that's gotta be inconvenient for the town, but it's cool that once he has hope, that he causes new life.
Yeah. Just real quick, just because like when I was watching it at the end of the episode, I just got like a super D&D vibe from Sokka, because like they're all sitting there and like they had just completed their quest or whatever, and then the townspeople are like, "What can we do for you?" And Sokka's like, "I don't know. Do you got any money or like stuff we could have?" And I was like,
"We need stuff."
Yeah, we need loot. Yeah, any loot basically. I was like, as I heard that, I was like, "What a D&D thing!" Like it's like, yeah.
You see off screen, you just see him yelling up to the sky, asking if he levels up.
Yeah. Do we level?
They did him dirty when so it's like Sokka during that battle was like, man, my homeboy Aang, he's fighting this thing alone. He shouldn't have to fight alone. I'm his ride or die. I'm gonna fight with him. Boomerang attack, and they did him so dirty with that sound animation. Come on, let him be brave. Let him be cool. Come on.
Didn't even phase it. It was like right off its butt. It was like nothing.
No, that was solid. Another like perfect example of like just the sound design and how like it's on point.
Yeah, for sure. So something I noticed was the colors in this episode were really cool. So like Aang flies off in the night, and then he knocks himself out, and you see, and it's the same color as when he flew off, because it's very like muted, drab kind of colors. But then when the sun comes up, all of a sudden he's still that muted, drab colors. And it's just very cool, that like juxtaposition. It's like, oh, he's like obviously in the spirit world. It's very cool.
I think that's why I maybe think that there's kind of a creepy aesthetic to it, is because like in the beginning all the colors are very muted. Like they go to the forest that's been burnt down, right? It's black and gray. There's not a lot of color going on there. Even in the village I noticed that like they're wearing a lot of browns and like dark greens and stuff. Like it seems like
beige for days.
Yeah, beige for days. It's like they're clearly not benders because they're not wearing any of the colors. Like, so these guys are just normies, right? But I think like it kind of adds to the whole like I guess creepy aesthetic that I feel from it.
Yeah,
at least.
No, that's fair.
What else is giving you the hey bye GBs here?
So something I noticed that kind of. It really hit me this time. I think I've noticed it before, but like when that dragon flies up, you're like, is 100% gonna eat Aang.
Yeah.
And then like, even when it's like standing in front of him and this like tentacle thingy comes out and like touches Aang's head, it looks mean. And then as soon as that vision is over, it looks like this happy like dragon that's gonna do and help him. But like before Aang has that vision, it looks like it's gonna eat him.
Definitely.
Yeah, just the way that it moves too. It's all like it's very serpent-like, right? Because it is very like serpent-like dragon. But that tentacle thing that you are referring to is actually his mustache.
I know. It just looks like a weird tentacle thing.
I think something I'm realizing now is what this episode doesn't establish. what this episode does in establishing, I guess, the magic system and the lore of the world as well. We kind of realize the importance of Appa, yes, which is besides the standard baseline importance of Appa, but his role as an animal guide, as that, I think that's like the first time that we encounter that phrase or that term.
Yeah,
right?
Another really cool thing that we encounter is we learn that Uncle Iroh can see the spirit world.
Yeah.
And it's so cool because that comes in later. And he's like the most badass person. He just goes and chills in the spirit world with the spirits.
Yeah, like it's like never addressed at all in this episode. It's just like he gets captured, and as he's riding like basically naked on the back of these earthbenders' horses, he's just like, oh shit, a dragon. So that is interesting.
I wonder how much stuff Uncle Iroh sees that he's like, oh shit! Oh no, it's fine. It's in the spirit world.
But it is very cool that we do find out, like you said, that Appa is Aang's animal guide, and then it seems like the avatars that have come before him have also had animal guides or animal companions, right? It's almost kind of like a familiar or whatever, you know?
Yeah. And it's very cool. And like it kind of establishes Appa's importance so that like later on when he's lost, like it's been established that like not only is this Aang's ride, but it's his animal guide. Like it's there to help him be the avatar.
It's almost like a bond that the bond itself is also reincarnated through the various lives as well.
So like
interesting. Yeah.
It kind of like really backdrops that like when Appa does go missing, like we now have this backdrop of like this is a way bigger deal than just your pet going missing.
Actually, just kind of building something off what you said, it kind of made me think like, you know, there's the test to determine who is going to be the avatar, right? And it stems from, you know, what toys you pick. And but I wonder if like a prerequisite for you even being the avatar is you have to have some sort of bond with an animal.
No, because we saw the bond later. Didn't he pick Appa after he picked the toys?
I don't know.
Oh, actually, no. I think they get their flying bison before they even get the tattoos.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you get them as like you get like of being 5 years old and having a baby. Oh my gosh, sorry.
That would be amazing.
I'm really considering nomadicism and like living in a temple just to have a bison. Dear Lord.
It's like, so to be the avatar, do you have to have this bond with an animal?
Yeah, if you're bad with animals, you just obviously cannot there's
gonna be maybe if you're bad with animals and then you become the avatar, maybe you gain the ability to gain the trust of one animal, and that's your animal.
Does like one just come out of the woodworks and be like, hey,
it's like, hey,
yeah, probably.
I want to see that future avatar canon of just like an avatar who's absolutely allergic to everything.
It gets a snake. It's not allergic.
Still hates animals because like, why are you on me still? Stop being my friend. It's like, oh hey.
One cool thing about this episode as well is we actually get to see kind of how deep the relationship between Zuko and Iroh really is, right? Like not only is Zuko very concerned about his uncle and stuff, but he has the chance, he sees Appa flying in the sky, and he has the chance to go after the avatar, but he chooses to go after his uncle instead.
I think that not only shows how deep the bond is, but it also shows one of these moments where Zuko chose to do something good and not selfish. And I think that is important in establishing his character, that he can and does make these choices occasionally to do something good instead of selfish.
I really like that. I love the parallel shots of Zuko seeing the I'm air quoting, by the way, the avatar in the sky, and then Uncle Iroh really seeing the avatar in the sky in the spirit realm. I just like the two parallels. Like, oh wait, these boys like staring off into the sky. I see. That's cool. Relate.
To be fair, Iroh's the dragon almost ran him over.
Oh, okay, yeah, wait. That's a lot less casual than I was imagining, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting. That whole scene with like Iroh and the Earthbenders was because we learned a lot about Iroh's backstory, like more than some of the previous episodes. Like the the 600-day siege on Ba Sing Se.
I totally did not retain that information. It's like, I didn't realize
That's
how
almost
long
2
he was
years.
there. That's
Yeah.
almost 2 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's crazy.
Something I realized about Iroh's character is that he doesn't give a fuck. He just rolled straight off a cliff.
Nearly naked, jagged
Just like,
rocks
yeah,
abound.
I'ma just yeet myself off this cliff.
I really love because there's so many reasons to just perceive Iroh as a bumbling fool, but we're starting to. These are the seeds being planted of like, oh, he's a lot more competent that he's letting on, and he's being super intentional of
We see, like,
not.
the little devious smile after he drops his shoe. He's like,
Yeah, dropping, falling off the horse so he could leave evidence for him to be tracked. And then, why is Zuko so familiar with the stank of his uncle's foot?
right? Oh yeah, Snip. Oh, this is
Definitely his Uncle Iroh. Yeah, no.
Like, why do you know that?
I mean, to be fair, I mean, if he's got some pretty stanky feet, like
That's true.
you spend close amounts of time with that dude, you're gonna smell his feet. Like,
It's like, Zuko has a foot problem too. It's like, yeah, this stank is genetic, actually. It's like the royal bloodline's feet is just known.
it's
The royal blood stank.
Yeah,
it's nasty.
nasty.
But yeah, no, we do actually get to see like the intentionality of Iroh, right? Like it's everything is kind of planned out, and like, yes, he acts like a bumbling fool when he falls off the horse, but it's to leave evidence. Or he acts like the pathetic old man and be like, oh, can you please do up my shackles tighter because they slap against my
My
wrists.
old joints.
Yeah. And then he fucking owns that guy by breathing steam on it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like, and then they're like, yeah, we're gonna crush your hands. It's like, did you not see him shoot fire with his feet? Did you not see him burn this guy's hand with his nose? Like, you think his hands are gonna matter?
Lord.
yeah.
What was insane about that? So the shackles were right on his wrists, and then as the guard is touching it, he like super metal heats it until it's red, and that thing's on his own wrist still.
True.
And just holds the guard's hand against it. I was like, wow.
I wonder if he
he's a
has some
savage.
sort of like immunity.
I think to be a firebender, like imagine being a firebender and like really not liking heat. That's
Yeah.
that's just sad.
I'm a firebender, but I'm really like a waterbender at heart, you know?
That's crazy. Building off of what Tierra said, because there's a moment he was like, oh wow, I've heated it to the perfect temperature. I'm wondering if like perfect temperature for a firebender is like different than perfect, like if
boiling?
it's actual homeostatic conditions for us non-bender like normies. But like, wow, he's like straight up just like,
Sitting in a boiling pool of water.
Yeah.
Might as well just be
oh,
lava.
it's perfect.
Another like big Iroh moment that I kind of noticed was right at the beginning when he does oversleep, and he's like, he's just like, oh, I overslept, and you know, for most of us, oversleeping is just like, oh no, and it's panic and like, oh, I gotta do this, but he's just like, but that was a very lovely nap, and he's just still super chill about it.
And also, directly after that, he is just a Disney princess. I think you said that to him. But yeah, this like mouse comes up to him. He just like instantly crawls onto his hand, and then the mouse tries to warn him. It's like,
That was great.
can you be any more of a Disney princess? Are you gonna burst into song? Later he bursts
Iroh-
into song.
True, yeah. He's a very musical. Oh my gosh, he is super musical too.
He's a Disney princess.
This is a spin-off. This is the mashup we were needing. Iroh is just goals. Nap goals, Disney princess goals, escaping your enemies goals. Goals.
Iroh is for sure one of my favorites. He's
yeah.
just so good.
I think if you watch The Last Airbender and you don't appreciate Iroh as a character, or if he's not one of your favorite, there's something wrong with you. Like,
or you're very young. Like, if you watched it as a child, I don't know if Iroh would have been my favorite character.
But I think to at least appreciate, like, the idea of, like, the categorization, like, cool adult, at least. Like,
Yeah,
I hope
I
you
guess.
could, I hope that gets translated at
Yeah.
least as a child.
yeah, because like the first time I watched Avatar, I was 29, I think. I was in my late 20s
Yeah.
for sure. So I was instantly like gravitated towards Iroh. I was like, this guy's chill.
Yeah.
And also the wisdom that he's just like laying down
just
for everybody.
drops little nuggets all the time. It's like, relax when you can. Take naps when you can. Be nice to animals.
Iroh said self-care, period.
Fuck up your enemies.
Yeah. He's like the definition of like walk softly but carry a big stick or whatever. You know what I mean?
Like drink tea when you can.
Yeah. But I guess we'd be kind of remiss if we didn't kind of mention Aang's adventure into the spirit world and how he goes and visits it's the temple of Avatar Roku.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we see the comet for the first time, which I think we'll learn about it in the next episode.
Yeah,
but
we do. We learn all about it.
It's the first time where a timeline is actually put on this adventure. You know what I mean?
Until now it was just like let's just go ride some koi fish. Let's go into the spirit world. And now it's like, in this next episode, we'll learn that actually they don't have all the time in the world for Aang to learn all of the bending he needs to.
Yeah, but we do learn from Roku's spirit or animal guide whatever that basically Aang can commune with Avatar Roku on the winter solstice.
That montage was actually so beautiful though too, and it was the dragon didn't communicate verbally at all. It was sending mental images to Aang, but even the way they shot that of the time lapse, I don't know. It was stunning. It was stunning.
Yeah, I had the same thought. I was watching that and I was like, even as a child, I think that I would have gotten that. It's very clear. Except for there's no words used. You just see these pictures flash by and you're like, oh, it's obviously going to be, 3 days? The sun comes up 3 times and then the light moves over. It's like, yeah, this is very obvious and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, well, you see the days progressing forward and then it goes faster and faster and faster and then they do basically the exact same scene just inside the temple and what's happening inside the temple. And you're like, oh, once that beam of light touches the statue of Roku, then something's going to happen. So.
It was very cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Job. I think, and was that kind of established? I think that was established as well with the villagers being scared of Heibai as well. Because, oh man, he's causing all this destruction every time at night. And we're worried for when the Winster. For hipsters
hello,
win.
I am the Winster.
I'm the Winster. We're scared of what this spirit could do on the winter solstice. So
yeah, because it's saying the veil between the world becomes so thin that it's pretty non-existent. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm kind of remiss. Does Sojun's comet, does that happen on the solstice as well, or is that just
it's its own astronomical event?
Yeah,
100 years.
Astrological.
Yeah, astrological. I just talk until words make sense. I just want to apologize in advance to any viewers who are whose taste in grammar is being absolutely assaulted right now. I'm so sorry.
Send us a letter. Or don't. Or just keep it to yourself.
Actually, send a letter, but just just correct everything.
Yeah.
Just lovingly.
Print an audio transcript and just send it back to us.
Yeah.
If you have the time to do that, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Only with red pen. You can only use red pen.
To correct it. Yeah. Everything changed when the red pen.
And also your quest is to find the address to send it to. Yeah, that's not obvious.
Actually,
anyway.
Please don't even try. Please, no, I'm scared.
I mean, if somebody actually did that and they actually figured it out, and we got a fucking letter with red markings, I would be so impressed.
Yeah, I think I would probably die. I would laugh so hard.
And then I would be 100% freaked out.
Okay, there it is. Me too. I'd be like, oh wow, then start shuddering.
Yeah. It'd be I would feel the way I felt at the beginning of this episode.
Oh, this is bad.
Yeah. Oh no.
There's such specific things in the world that are both creepy and endearing. It's just, I think that's in that category.
100%.
Sorry. Back to, I have something about Uncle Iroh and Zuko. Was I gonna say? As a child, we were only So I'm just trying to imagine being a child and taking this in. Watching this show, I'm only 7 episodes in. Iroh and Zuko are supposed to be the bad guys, and like I'm supposed to not like them if that's my simple child logic. But so it's so cool just seeing ways of that the writers the scenes they chose to start making to endear them and make them relatable characters in some ways, which is really cool. Because I wouldn't like first watch through. It was like, oh wow, yeah, I'm not supposed to like these people, and then now I'm started feeling more conflict. It was like, wait, like they're kind of cool though.
So like building off of that, it's cool that they like use this scene of Zuko and Iroh attacking these soldiers from Ba Sing Se as if we're supposed to see Ba Sing Se as the enemy.
Oh, yeah.
And then later, Ba Sing Se is really hella creepy.
True.
So like that is some good foreshadowing.
Like I wonder if it's like conscious foreshadowing on the writers' parts, or if this is just us being like, foreshadowing.
We see it. It's there. It's real.
The writer's like, oh shit, yeah, we did that.
No. But I think that's the mark of a good show. It's like, yeah, maybe there is some foreshadowing, but maybe it was all just like kind of, it's left up to the interpretation of the audience, and that's why we can have a podcast about it. And all good series do it. Star Wars, Marvel, all of them, all the good best series do it. One thing that I will say that I did notice is for the first time actually is that the Earthbenders in their uniforms don't wear any shoes. Because they have to be grounded and connected to
You
the
didn't
earth.
notice that?
For the first time, I noticed it in this one.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I know. They never wear shoes.
It's the second time we've seen Earthbenders.
Oh, okay. Fair. Yeah, no. That's something I noticed right away the first time I watched through it because I was a child who hated wearing shoes. My mom would make me put on shoes.
They spoke to you very deeply. It's like, yes, represent, yes.
My mom would make me put on shoes, and I'd walk outside of the house and take my shoes off and put them in my backpack and walk around barefoot as soon as the snow melted up till it snowed again.
Also, just the last thing that I guess I have to say, it's something that I did notice is that when Zuko came in to save Iroh actually didn't use any firebending. He was just using the chains to which is
like
crazy shit.
So
he was
badass.
He was kind of letting Zuko kind of take the lead role in that, you know?
Yeah.
Like I'm sure when they were about to crush his hands, Iroh could have escaped at any moment. Let's be real here. He's like super uber powerful.
I think
like 5 Earthbenders are gonna be able to just sit there and keep him chained and crush his hands. I think it was maybe like
it felt like a test. It felt like a test for Zuko to see if he would go after his uncle or if he would go after the Avatar.
Yeah.
Is what this episode kind of felt like. It was a test and Zuko passed.
Counterpoint, Uncle Iroh just didn't want to like feel like get reamed out for being lazy and like oversleeping. He was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna let Zuko think he rescued me so he can feel good about it, and then like he'll just be so worried about me that he's not gonna get mad about me oversleeping.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get in shit for taking a sweet ass nap.
Controversial opinion. I don't know if I believe that. But I like what you were saying about it being a test, because I agree. Like the exact line, or no, exact line. I shouldn't say. I'm dealing with extremes. I need to be careful. But the essence of the line that Iroh said was like, "Outnumbered, yes, but outmatched, hell nah." Okay, he didn't say that. But...
He was like, "Yes, we may be outnumbered, but you are outmatched."
There you go. That's it.
It was so badass. It was so cool.
Yeah.
And then he like whips the chains.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, like yeah, I didn't even pick up that he didn't use any firebending for that
Me
fight.
neither.
So he was nerfed, and it was like, yeah, we don't need to use firebending. Zuko's got it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, the only time he used firebending was to heat up the metal and do that sweet fire kick at that one guy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But
I like that he used, which is very like, it's a very Uncle Iroh move to use the bendings, the like people who bends power against them, where he like knocked he
took the root.
Yeah, he knocked the like Earthbender's feet out from him, and then the rocks fell onto the Earthbender. So he like took away, or like he used the Earthbending power against the Earthbender.
That was poetic. Yeah, definitely.
It's like a very Uncle Iroh move.
Yeah, you just kind of see the mastery of Uncle Iroh, I guess. Like his not just mastery of firebending, but his knowledge of all of the bending elements, you know.
Yeah.
If you hadn't been like a student of earth bending, you might not know that if you take away their root, if you take away their connection to the earth, it takes away their power, you know?
But like if you tried that with an airbender, they would have just done like a sick flip and like shot Iro.
Exactly.
What I like of just the of like him kind of like just sitting in that captivity, which we are going to see in future books, but that really just reminded me of, I guess, okay, spoilers, of King Boomy when he allowed himself to be captured to be a practitioner of that neutral Jing, I guess, of waiting and listening and like figuring out your response. And I really like that because like just what we see from his personality, he's just so unrushed and like not a slave to like the tempo of the chaotic world around him. It's like, oh yeah, my nephew's in a rush, but I'm gonna take my time. Oh, these guys, they wanna rush me over to the capital of the Earth Kingdom. I was like, whatever.
I'm just gonna roll down a cliff.
I'm gonna make moves when I want to make moves. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Iroh is very like, he's almost the embodiment of kind of like living in the now, living in the moment, you know? It's never like...
But he also does really well at like strategizing for the future.
Yeah, in a way, but I mean, like his general like vibe is like we see it a lot in this episode. Like, you know, I overslept. Oh, no big deal. Like it's very like appreciative of the moment, and maybe that comes with his age or his experience or whatever. Like
smelling the roses.
Yeah. He's lived a full life, right?
Yeah, I think like building off of that, like yes, he is like very aware of the moment and appreciates the moment, but he is like a master planner of the future, which we do see later. Like he plans everything out so well, and like he's like devious about it.
Yeah.
Devious,
but like
devious,
but like in a good way.
Yeah, but I think there's like, just because you can live in the moment and appreciate the moment doesn't mean you don't plan for the future or are unable to. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
I
just
know.
Like,
that's what I'm saying. He does both.
Yeah,
he does both really well.
The two aren't like mutually exclusive. I guess all I'm trying to say. Yeah.
I like that. Synergizing, I guess, your 2 points. I feel like his ability to, like, his awareness of, I guess, following his path and his destiny, like, being aware of, like, the future he wants to move towards, of, like, what the right thing to do is, and kind of helps ground him to be present and take the steps towards that, which I think I really appreciate. I'm so curious, like, I'm so curious at this point of time, like we know now as people who have watched the series that he's part of the Order of the White Lotus. I'm wondering, like, how far, like, I want to know what he's thinking at this current episode of like of what the end goal of the Fire Nation is.
Because, like, really. Even I forgot that he was part of the Order of the White Lotus, so he probably wasn't even that concerned about being taken to Ba Sing Se. He probably has buds in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had a thought though. It's like, so Uncle Iroh doesn't really want to capture the Avatar, and we see that. And so, what if he saw the Avatar go over and he's like, I'ma just chill. We're gonna lose him. It's fine. And then he gets captured. And then he's like, well, that's a test for Zuko. Let's see if he goes after me or the Avatar.
See?
I brought it back around.
Now we're also building off of things that didn't actually happen.
Yeah. This is a wild theory. It's fine.
I actually have another thought, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
I was like, because I think something kind of clicked. So I'm just analyzing what Iroh is currently invested in. He's very much invested in Zuko. I think, so to answer my own question of like, what is Iroh's endgame in terms of vision of the Fire Nation in the future? I think that's what he's doing right now. He's currently the person with the most faith that Zuko could be a just and good ruler, even though right now he's very rough around the edges. And I think even if the Avatar never came into play in his lifetime, I like to believe that Iroh's current plan is investing in the future of the Fire Nation by investing in Zuko, because
Yeah.
even though he may be a banished prince right now, he's still one of the rightful heirs.
Yeah. And he's also heads and tails way better than
And Azula.
all of his relatives. His father's a dick. His sister's a dick.
Like, Zuko is like a spoiled little twat, but like he is like miles better than Azula.
Yeah, like he's like the best. He's the least evil out of all of them, which is like what?
He got shamed for being good. Yeah.
Yeah,
just
basically.
Yeah, that's like when we see flashbacks of his childhood. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah. And it's like I think that Iroh himself had that moment in the siege of Ba Sing Se and also losing his son and stuff, and that kind of put into perspective like what really matters.
Yeah.
And war and domination isn't what matters to him anymore. It's peace and like love and like let's work together for the mutual prosperity of all the nations,
Yeah,
because
and
we don't
like,
need to fight each other. There's enough to go around, kind of thing.
Yeah, and not just like peace, but also just like building a better world. And like, yes, I feel like Iroh understands that like occasionally skirmishes and war is a part of that, but to work towards building a better world without domination.
And actually, we actually, I just kind of bringing that around too. We actually see that in the Order of the White Lotus itself, because it's all old people. It's not young people in the Order of the like. It's the Sword Master. It's Boomy. It's
Yeah.
like
Paku.
it's all these
Yeah.
people who are. They've lived. They like. I'm sure they're tired of war. You've had 100 years of it, right?
Yeah.
Like that's just so.
It's probably people that were like pretty much born into war and have had war going on their entire lives and are just like, we would like to taste some peace, please.
Yeah.
Peace, please, over here.
And also, not only is the Fire Nation just doing this for destruction, but what we learned in the later books that their children have been indoctrinated into thinking like this is how the Fire Nation is helping the world by sharing like its glory and all its like mental thinking of like wow, this is we're not here to tear families apart or to just be shitty people. We're here because like the indoctrination is that we're sharing the glory of our land with everyone else, so no one misses out.
Yeah, which is like a very good way to indoctrinate people. Which we have seen the Fire Nation use like that mental warfare in the like in Imprisoned in the episode previous to this.
Yeah.
So like we know that is one of their like go-to weapons or ways of controlling the populace.
Just like as you said that, just as I do, drawing parallels to like the world, but that's like very reminiscent of kind of even what like the British Empire did with colonization and stuff like that. It was like we are bringing what we have to the world, so it's just like it's very kind of reminiscent of that, I guess. Any final thoughts on this episode? I feel like we've taken a deep dive into Uncle Iroh specifically.
But it's so fun, like looking back on this now.
I like
He stole the show.
I always forget, and I said this at the beginning of this, but like when we take a break from watching Avatar and we go back, I always forget how beautiful the like backgrounds are.
Oh yeah,
like,
the opening scene with the clouds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just like it's just gorgeous, and like every scene, like whether or not it moves the story forward, it just like it's beautiful.
Also the music, I don't know what kind of like chill hop vibes that they were like. Yeah, it was tight for sure.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool. Yeah. So next episode we'll be taking a look at part 2 of Winter Solstice. So join us for that, and I hope that you all enjoyed listening to this show. I don't know, I can't speak for my other co-hosts, but for me personally, this has been a super fun project, and thank you all for the support that you have shown.
Yeah.
And keep listening, tune in, chat with us. We dig it.
We dig it.
We fucking dig it.
We dig it like a earthbender trapped in a cave.
And like if you do have comments, like feel free to leave them on our Instagram. Somebody will probably reply to you fairly quickly if you do that.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm Cody Smith.
I'm Tierra Penner.
I'm Timothy Ocampo.
Stay hot, hot people.
Yep.
If you liked this episode of the podcast, why not leave a review? Whether you're listening on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcast, whatever podcatcher you may be listening on, ratings and reviews are huge. They help us to break through those evil algorithms, and it will help us to reach the most amount of glorious Avatar fans that we can possibly reach. If you would like up-to-date information regarding this podcast, follow us on Instagram. You can find us at the.last.podbender on Instagram. If you would like more information about all of the shows that Froggy Style Productions produces, including this one, follow them on social media, and you can find them at Froggy Style Productions on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For more ways in which you can support the show, visit fsproductions.ca.